So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. Bain, for joining us today. My name is Ryan. This is my co-consultant, We're here today to talk to you about a company we're excited and bringing your new modular products to market. You came to us with some questions. You really wanted to know how to bring your company to market. You've had some wild growth the last couple of years, but you're looking to temper that growth going forward. There's a number of factors complicating your growth. You are looking in 5 years perhaps to sell the company. The company's looking to be sold. You're in a very large market, a lot of competition, very diverse competition. Construction companies, massive firms such as IBM, stuff like that. And here you are, just a smaller firm in Edmonton, Alberta, trying to compete against the big guys. So, first, it's not knowing what you do, it's doing what you know. And you guys have had a lot of success in the past with ATC. You've worked with them, had great success with them. They are 80% of your revenues. They share paths with you. You have a very long-term contract with them. So, you are going to want to look to move away from that. The growth probably isn't there for them anymore. For 5 years, and it's time to spread out, find some new sources of revenue, and grow towards the future. So what will we be doing today? Quick introduction, and then I will lead you through a bit of analysis, pass off to Kyla, and we'll continue. Then we will give you a recommendation of what we think is best for you and your company going forward. These two will go through the implementation, and then wrap it up with a conclusion, and have some time for questions. So let's start out. We just wanted to do a quick SWOT analysis of your company, strengths, weaknesses. Right now, obviously, strengths of your company is the growth and profitability. You've got nearly doubled your sales in 1 year from 24 million to 40. Just basically working with one company. The differentiation, you guys have the most efficient product on the market. That is anecdotal from PCT, but it is really what separates you, and you do know that you have 30% savings. So, from a typical data center standpoint, 30% savings is $540,000 based on some of the information provided in the case. That's a big differentiation factor for you. Really, that's your value offer, what you bring to market. People need to know that. That's where you really make a big bang, get people's attention, and bring them in. Strong relationship, as I mentioned, with Access to Cloud ATC. I've worked with them for a long time. You know the data industry. You can go to them, leverage some of their knowledge. We're looking to expand, as well as the fact that we share patents with them. Creates a bit of a sticky situation, but I think people deal with that when we get to it. Some weaknesses, lack of competitor info. Everything is very secretive in the data market. No one's really sharing information about how they go about creating these savings, who's using who, what are they doing, and that it's harder to come up with real concrete numbers for you to give to companies when they aren't really wanting to share information with you, but 30% feel really big to you. Uncertainty in managing the increased leads. This is one thing. When you get to see our recommendation, we feel there could be huge growth, a lot higher than 15 to 20%, at least interest, and we need to manage the growth that is going to come to you to maintain that 15 to 20% that you want to hold on to. And also the patents I mentioned is a bit of a weird situation. Opportunities, the growth of cloud computing is set to grow quintuple in 4 years, and next year to $200 billion. It's a massive market, and definitely a good place to be. As well as environmental consciousness, you want to save the environment, as well as save some money. So if you better on electricity costs, you can really access other people. Threats, competitors, I mentioned, you're in a huge market, lots of big companies buying for your space, but your 30% is really your unique proposition and will hopefully push competitors away. And also the market volatility, the recession, a lot of stuff going on, people might all be spending much more money in the future, just some macroeconomic factors to take into consideration. So we went through what you guys came with 3 options. One that you mentioned was to outsource the distribution. That would, do the sales work almost for you, find people for you to connect with. However, they would probably cost you 5% sales. Your contribution margin of 15%, that's quite a portion of what you sell. In continue current operations, that would be continue working with Access to Cloud, grow with them. They may want to open up a new data center. Uncertainties in the future that you could hopefully work with if they were to come, but you never really know. Finally, it's doing what you know. You have worked to design these great, very unique data center cooling products. You need to get those to market, get them out to people, let them be aware of the 30% savings that you have, the massive financial savings that you have, and this will help to drive your growth and bring lots of people to you, and hopefully create a lot of goodwill and intangibles when the time comes for you looking to sell your company in a couple of years. So I'll pass it off to Tyler to conclude with everyone else.
Thank you, Ryan. So Ryan has identified 3 possible options to help you to achieve your sales and brand goals. So those were to outsource, to stay with what you're doing, and then also doing what you know. Before I get into how we made our decision to go with doing what you know, I'd like to introduce you to your target market. So let me introduce Rick.
Hi, my name is Rick Stout. I'm the CEO of a startup data company. I've been working in the IT sector a long time. I know that there are a lot of electricity costs and this kind of thing, so you want to kind of cut down on those, be as efficient as possible, try to save some money to be more profitable in the future. I'm really interested in the cloud computing sector. It's growing a lot. Great place to be. Going to be a $2 billion market by next year, so I really want to get my piece of the pie on that. But I'm just really looking for a company I can pair with, someone who understands me, understands the growth needs of the company, and can supply and grow with me as I move forward.
Thank you. So when looking at your decision, we weighed a lot of different factors, but the 4 that proved to be the most important were growth, your partnership, your brand image, and your competition. So for all firms, it's important to have growth. In your case, you want to manage your growth so that you can maintain the quality, but we do want to see some increased profitability as well. Also productivity, so continuing to be creative and innovative with your products, as well as continuing your efficient operation and your effective management. So for partnerships, your partnership with Access to the Cloud right now, they're the co-owner of your patents, and they also are the source of 80% of your revenue, so that's pretty heavy dependence considering that they're doing $32 million each year, so we want to be able to nurture that in whatever decision you make. Your brand image is also important, as you've recognized in the past year by spending some money on your branding efforts and your web design. We want to be able to maintain the image of quality, so that's why you'll see later we decided not to do the junk mail kind of mail-outs, but and then also that's why we chose to manage your growth, is to maintain a quality image. We also mentioned that you wanted to avoid turning away potential customers. So if you have a huge influx of customers and having to reject some of them, they may leave kind of a bad taste in their mouths, and maybe people want to go with you in the future. So we want to be able to mitigate that with whichever decision we make. And then also the brand image of your energy efficiency, so being more of a sustainable company and being able to provide more of a green alternative as well. So competition is also super important in this industry. So currently there's 3 kind of sectors: the air management firms, the technology and consulting giants, as well as the construction firms, split equally. So we figured that you have about 0.3% of market share, judging by the $40 million market and $13 billion of the total market. The most important thing in the competitive market right now is the fact that there's so much secrecy. So we wanted to be able to also use that when making our decision. So doing what you know, the recommendation that we will be giving you will be able to maintain your growth, but then also managing it. You'll be able to maintain your partnership with ATC. You'll be able to maintain your positive brand image, and you'll also be able to maintain your competitive edge. So this sounds like a lot of maintenance and not very much growth, but we will show to you that through maintaining all of these with your additional marketing budget, you will be able to grow as well. So our recommendation for you is to attend 2 data center conferences. So whichever one is the soonest, go to that one, and then also going to the International Data Center Conference, which will be in December. That's the Gartner's one of the big ones, so we want you to go to that one as well. And then implementing new marketing initiatives, so magazines and billboards, as well as search engine optimization. Trying to obtain ATC financial information so that you can figure out how much they're saving on their energy bill, how many servers they have, and how much they're using, how much cost savings they have as a result of going with your firm. Getting a new customer service representative will be able to work with the companies that you're working with as well to make sure that if they want to purchase again, they're coming back to you. And then also starting contracts with deposit agreements. Currently there's an 18-month turnaround time. And if you're not getting money for the full 18 months, you don't know if they're going to change their mind in the meantime. So starting contracts that have deposits up front will allow you to ensure that they're going to follow through with that, and it also will encourage them to implement their system faster so that they can start getting those revenues back, as well as implementing non-disclosure agreements so that your secrets don't get out to other people when you show, obviously, new potential customers what you're doing. So for our marketing budget, we had $1.2 million, and we didn't need that much at all. So for the two conferences, I had about $250,000 each. That would be $500,000. We wanted to go with 2 magazines, with Wired as well as with The Economist. We figured for 4 months, do $40,000, getting a billboard in Silicon Valley for $353,000. And then the search engine optimization for $5,000, and then also a new customer service representative, usually with a salary at $7,000, puts us just under the $1 million. So that'd be still over $200,000 cost savings for you. And now Nisha is going to walk you through how to implement all of these recommendations. Thank you, Kyle.
So now that Brian's gone over the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats we did from the information that he gave us, as well as outlining the 3 options, and Kyle going over the recommendation that we based on the option that we've provided for the recommendation that we're giving to you today, you must be wondering how you can go ahead and implement that recommendation. Well, we've come up with a 3-tier plan for you. That's in the short term, the medium term, and the long term. Starting with the short term, which is from today to 6 months from now. Some things that we'd like you to start doing, as you'll see, we'd like you to stay a little bit busy in the first 6 months. This is the busiest aspect of the 3-tier plan that we have for you. Set up a meeting with ATC. Because you do have a lot of reliance on ATC, you already have a really strong relationship with them, and they are a source of a significant amount of your revenue. You want to make sure that you are keeping them up to date with your plan moving forward, and that's the recommendation that Kyle has just outlined. And just ensure that they're on the same page, and that will ensure that there's honesty in the relationship and help maintain that relationship with ATC. We'd also like you to find the Student Data Center Conference. We would have done this for you, but we didn't see any dates in the information that you provided us with. So please go ahead and sift through the upcoming conferences, find the soonest one, and make sure you get yourself set up with a supplier group. Book the magazine and billboard advertisements so you can contact the necessary marketing agencies for those, and just make sure that you've got spaces available for yourselves. And after having done so, you can go ahead and with your marketing team develop the advertisements. So with what you're offering, your value proposition to your customers, creating value for them, we think that the best way for you to market yourselves is through something that's very simple and to the point. So a blank white advertisement, this is going to be on the billboard and the full page magazine advertisement with black, say, Arial font that says, we can save you 30% on your page. Don't tell anyone. And at the bottom, you can have your logo. We think that this is going to be the most effective way for you to get your message across in a very simple, easy way. And although it sounds like it's going to be very simple, we think that this will be an eye-catching advertisement both on a billboard and in the magazine as well. We'd like you to establish search engine optimization. So this is, for example, if someone goes to google.com and puts in a search for how their business can save some money on their energy, your company will be one of the first to pop up on one of the Google advertisements. If you, of course, pay those search engines the money, it'll ensure that your company is one of the first ones to pop up so that customers are more likely to click on your company. We'd also like you to develop the deposit agreements as well as the non-disclosure contracts that Kyle had covered. So moving into the medium term, which is once all of that is done in the 6 months to the 2-year range, some things that we'd like you to start doing is, of course, attend that first data center conference that was as soon as from now, as well as the second one, which is the international conference in December. We'd also like you to launch those marketing initiatives, so get that advertisement for 6 months up in The Economist and Wired as well as get your billboard up in Silicon Valley. We'd like you to analyze ATC's financial documents. This way you can kind of get an idea of more specifics in regards to the cost savings that they're being provided with and that you're offering them, as well as you'll have a better idea of how many royalties you can offer them. customer service representative will help make sure that you maintain your strong relationships, especially with ATC. Moving into the long term, so this is 2 years to 5 years from now. Some things that we'd like you to do, you've already implemented the bulk of our recommendation that we've had for you, so in the long term 2 to 5 year range, what we'd like you to start doing is start designing new marketing initiatives. So now you've already gone through with the one that we recommended for you. We'd like you to do a little bit of market analysis and see what you can do to retailer your marketing initiatives and rebrand them and come up with some new marketing strategies to start implementing. We'd like you to look at emerging technologies. One way that you really differentiate yourself from competitors in the market is through the technology that you use. And as we all know, lots of technologies come with planned obsolescence and they're constantly changing, so it's important for you to upkeep the research and make sure you're maintaining that differentiation through that. And also, if there is by chance an offer for you to be bought out by a larger company, you're going to be at more trade shows, you're going to be growing, and you're going to be more recognized in the market through your advertising as well. This is likely that you will get an offer. We think that you're in a position to accept this offer. This is something that you've identified that you would like to see your company doing, especially in the next 5 years. So if the price is appropriate, we would like you to accept this offer. We did do a little bit of analysis in the financials for you as to how much we think an appropriate price would be for you to be bought out. So based on the financial information that you gave us, we estimated that your current cash flow is at $1 million, and at a growth rate of 20% in the next 5 years, you can see how much that increases by each year. And at a discount rate of 10%, we've determined your present value and future cash flow valuation to be approximately $6.86 million. So that's your current selling price, and if you get an offer about that or more, we think that you're definitely going to be in a position to accept that offer. Now, with any business venture, there comes some risks. We've identified some risks that you might face with our recommendation, as well as ways that you can mitigate these risks. So starting off with the first risk, if you have higher than expected client growth, I know this is of course a positive thing, but it can be a negative thing if it does become difficult to maintain. So a way to mitigate this is to have a new selection process. If you're faced with a huge pool of potential clientele, one way that you can better select from that pool is by gathering the financial information of those companies and see which ones you can most effectively help reduce cost savings in their energy. Second risk that you might face is lower than expected client growth, so that's the complete opposite. And if this is the case, then we think that you should go with an option that you actually presented might be an option for you in the information that you provided us with, and that is to outsource your distribution. A third risk is that ETC does not accept the royalties and new clients when you initially meet with them in the short term. If this is the case, you just need to make sure to maintain the honesty, make sure to strengthen that relationship, and ensure that they know that the emphasis here is on growth of the company. It's not to lose ATC, so that you're putting ATC in a position where they're losing their competitive edge. Fourth risk is that the customer service representative is not effective, and if this is the case, keep in mind this is the first time that you've got this position in your business, and you can just reestablish the role description for that person and ensure that they can do a more effective job in your role. Now I'm going to pass things off to Ryan for a conclusion.
So we've looked at the bump you provided us. You want to grow 15-20% in the next 5 years, potentially look at the south. And you have a lot of competitors. It's a very wide open market, and we feel the recommendation we supplied to you will be the best way for you to get your name into the market, because you are such a small company. You need to really get that brand recognition. 30% savings is the best in the industry, and that will really draw people to you, keep them coming. However, the 15-20% growth kind of limits that, so we have given some stuff for you, some options for you to try to limit that growth while still maintaining strong customer relationships and working to create that goodwill and intangibles for your growth and stuff. But again, it's not knowing what to do, it's doing what you know. I feel this is the best time for you to really get going. If you want to sell in 5 years, you really have to get that brand name out there as fast as possible. And we hope that you decide our recommendation is the best one for you going forward. And I'll open for any questions.
I'll kick it off here. Specific to the advertising plan, so you have a very specific why have you chosen mass to go after
well, we feel that Silicon Valley, so there's a lot of tech going on there now. See a lot of people around there, venture capitalists, and there are companies there that could be using cooling systems. Venture capitalists decides to invest in data center because it is such a large market and very appealing. They do take some control when they say 30%. That's big for them. That's how much for them. So that was sort of where we're going with that. As far as the magazines go, Wired is the tech. It's typically rather people in the technical industry. So it would be something that they could see as well as the Economist. It's a very popular magazine, globally distributed, but for 50 to 20%, might be pushing the bounds a bit bigger unless they go in there. Something to consider. It's just you have to broaden the base as you are, pretty much introducing yourself to the market. So you want to hit as many people as you can at once.
Following into the market on, have you looked at what the conversions from implementing this campaign and see the county social apply to
well, for your 15 to 20% growth, we went off the 40 million. So that would be growth of 20% would be $8 million. That's only for the modular units and stuff. So really, we wanted to get a bigger, broad category that distill it from there. We felt, we did get all the unit recommendations for tuning people because we feel that it's very low rate, so many people it is so attractive that we didn't really do conversion to see how many people would bring in, but 20% is a 4-person room. We feel like that would be such a broad.
In regards to the marketing issues, or? I think some of the operational issues that might arise are, of course, you're about to hire a new staff member, and this person is in place because you're going to be, increasing your clientele and becoming more busy yourself, and you want to make sure that you maintain strong relationships because that's one of the biggest strong points in your company right now. So, of course, an operational issue might be in the HR sector. Another sector in your business that you might face some problems is, of course, in the marketing department. However, Ryan's just gone over why we think that our recommendation for you, as well as what you're already doing for your marketing issues on your website as well, is really effective. And targeting such a large base with new marketing efforts, if you think about it, one of your competitors are consultants that are consulting companies as to where they should go to minimize energy savings. Well, these consultants are also going to view your company the more visible you are in marketing issues, and the more likely they are to recommend you to customers. Another operational issue that you might face is just overall efficiency because you're going to be taking on more diverse and large workload than you're used to. However, we feel that this is something that you're in a position to manage, and because ATC is something that business that you're spending a lot of your time on right now, if you are able to manage that large sector and keep them in the loop with regards to your plans, you will be able to manage more clientele as well.
I can just add something over here. Were you referring to the fact that you're growing, you have more personnel? So that's where you're trying to get to. Okay, so just sort of recognize something. Almost doubled revenues this year with 170 people. That people can handle a growth of 100%, 20% growth. It should be sustainable to handle it. We have 10 people working behind the scenes and 160 or so working on the actual manufacturing. So the smaller growth we should be able to handle. You have 100% growth, so 20% should be able to benchmark yourself.
Well, I thought you said in the very opening of the introduction that we've been in a relationship with ATC for 5 years. I was not to know that. I thought that's what you said. And then I thought, I might have misheard. And then I thought the rest of the presentation was a lot about that relationship, was a lot about how that relationship. Can you more than quickly summarize your thoughts on the relationship with ATC?
Right, so we do want to maintain the relationship with ATC. We just want to be able to diversify as well. So we would still have